Hello, Loaf Nation. This is the Hot Bread, and welcome to episode number 0. This is not the first episode. This is character creation and battle sequences. Now, before we get started, I'm hoping that this really takes off. I mean, I don't really have a lot of people right now who are super into this, but hopefully it'll really take off. I'm just hoping. Alright, here we go. Before we get started with the actual storyline, you little loaves should know that I'm not just going to be narrating the story of Hot Bread and Tim. It's going to be a little interactive, so you can have fun with it and follow along. Or you can just sit and follow the actual storyline. It's totally up to you. I'm also going to put a readable version on the website for if you want to follow up on the most recent update, but you can't really watch the video. So, stay updated with that. If you don't want to follow along with a character, it's going to be more boring for you. But if that's how you want to do this, you don't even need to watch the rest of this video, because it all relates to doing the actual adventure. Character creation. Before we start with the first episode, you're going to want to create a character. The printout of the character sheet is in the Hot Bread database called charactersheet.docs. There will be a link to it in the description and below the video on the website. Make sure that you also have a 6-sided die, or 2. You're going to want more than one because you're probably going to lose the first one. Trust me, I know, I have tons of dice. Most of the character sheet is pretty simple. Obviously you know your name, so I don't need to tell you that. Character name can be a little harder, but they can have pretty much any name. So you can look it up on a name generator, you can just come up with anything like Bob, or Steve, or Jeffrey, or in my case, I've gone with Tim Bread, because Tim is a character, and Hot Bread is a character, and there's a ship called Tim Bread. And it's not a ship that I ship, but what do I know? I'm only the creator. Character number is just what character your character number is just what character you're on. So if you've never made a character before, just put a 1. If you have made a character before, take the number of times you've had to redo a character and add 1, and this is your character number. Basically, it's what character you're on. For character race, you can put virtually anything, but for simplicity, I'm only going to specify a few. There is human, halfling, a hobbit is a halfling, dwarf, elf, half-elf, gnome, and half-orc. You can pick dragon or phoenix, but it's not very practical because, anything I did not list cannot wear anything, and therefore can't carry anything it can't fit in its hands. It's like Kobolds Ate My Baby. In that game, you can't carry anything that you can't fit in your 2 hands unless you actually roll a specific way you can have a backpack. The dragon, Crisrina, and the phoenix, Nevela, in The Adventures of Hot Bread and Tim, they are allowed to have things because they're special, and I'm giving them special permission for this. And also, I created this rule after they played their first game, so they're special, and you guys are slightly less special, but you're still very special. I strongly suggest that you stick to my list: human, half-human, halfling, a hobbit is a halfling, dwarf, elf, half-elf, gnome, and half-orc. There are bonuses for some races outside of this list, but you're more likely to get killed than actually get a bonus depending on what you pick. But there are also there are benefits, but mostly no, you're just gonna get killed most likely. Tim Bread is a vampire though, And Timbred's probably not gonna die because I like Timbred, so. You could put Vampire and most likely not die, but you guys will probably die, especially since you just put Vampire. Character class is how your character fights things. Like character race, there's a large range of options, but because it's difficult to lead Loaf Nation, because we can't interact, it's just me talking to you and you listening, it's not so good. So, through an event, since this is through an adventure which you can control very little, so if you don't choose from my list, you're gonna have a rough time because you're gonna have to figure out everything on your own, and you can only pick weapons from the store that I provide on the website, so you're gonna have some difficulty with that. So your class options are as follows: Magic User, Paladin, Fighter, Rogue, Archer, and Jester. If you choose Magic User, your weapons are limited to darts, but you can add spells to your character sheet. Actually, go ahead and add the Fireball spell. I'm gonna give that to you as a freebie, I guess. And start out with 5 darts. Every time you attack with a dart, you lose 1 dart, so you have to buy a whole bunch of darts. Magic User's not really the best option for this. Unless you, well, at lower levels, it's not the best, but at higher levels, it'll get better. A Paladin can use spells at level 10, and then the Paladin is a level 10 fighter combined with a level 1 magic user. And basically, for the magic user side, you're starting at level 1, and fighter, you're just continuing on. So that's how that works. Paladins start with the short sword. Fighters are basic, they can use pretty much any weapon. They're gonna start with a hatchet. Rogues get a stealth bonus, so before you start fighting, roll a 6-sided die. Whatever number comes up, if it's even, you get to strike first. If it's odd, the monster gets to strike first. For everybody else, the monster always gets to strike first, unless I say otherwise. And usually I won't. So just keep in mind that the monster strikes first. Rogues start with a dagger, but it's low-level dagger. It's not the good dagger listed in the Hot Bread and Tim store for this adventure. Archers start off with a toy bow and arrow. Out there, it's not really much more simple than that. Jesters are fun. There's lots of jesters there's a lot of static characters in Hot Bread and Tim. You are a dynamic character. They are mostly static. There's not a whole lot of character development with that. Sorry, this is more focused on you. So, I don't know if that's good or bad from your guys' angle. I like it. I don't know if you guys do. It's very simple for me to write these scripts when I do that. So, with jesters, you fight with swords and puns, and that's all you get. So with puns, if you think of a clever pun in battle, say it out loud. Because if it gets laughter, it does damage equal to your level. If it gets groans, half your level. If nothing, you don't say it out loud, or nobody responds, or nobody understands it, it does 1 attack point. Jesters start with only puns. Sorry guys, only puns. But you can buy a sword at level 1. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. All starting weapons do 1 damage per strike. Add these starting weapons to your weapon slot on your character sheet. Timbred is a fighter, so he starts with a hatchet. Alignment is simple. There are 9 options, but only 4 extremes. The natures are good, neutral, and evil. Good means you can do no evil, and vice versa. Neutral allows you to do either at any time. If you are unsure, go with neutral, because if you put yourself as good and you do something evil, your character just dies, and you have to redo your entire character. So if you plan on doing something good and something evil, put neutral. The tendencies are lawful and chaotic. Lawful means you plan everything out. You look at everything and you make sure that this is exactly what you want to do. Chaotic means you are unpredictable. You don't really think about it a whole lot. It's fun. And these apply for both good and evil. Neutral means you can do either. Tim Bread is chaotic good, so he is unpredictable, but will never do evil, because Tim Bread is nice. If an action he does is evil, he must change the alignment to neutral and change all of his stats to level 1. Just like I said, you might as well start off with a new character. This is not so useful in the adventures of Hot Bread and Tim, but it is useful if you decide to use these character sheets and tips and things for your own Dungeons & Dragons adventure. Hit points are easy. Roll your 6-sided die to start with, and this is the number of your maximum hit points. If you roll a 1 for your first roll, roll again until you get something other than a 1, because 1s you're just gonna die right away, especially with the example battle later. When your maximum hit points increases, you automatically get to have that hit point. I'm not that horrible. I'm gonna let you have that hit point. Every time you level up, roll the die again. Add that to your hit points. This time you don't get that if you roll a 1, re-roll bonus. If you roll a 1, you only add 1. And that's because you already have hit points. You're not gonna die right away. Unless, of course, you've run them down to 1. Which I do not suggest doing. Hit points are how many times you can get hit before you die. Some monsters will do more than 1 hit point of damage. That doesn't really happen at level 1, but it can. It's harder to die the higher your level, but healing potions become less frequent at higher levels, so it kind of evens itself out. So you still need to be careful. Tim Bread has 6 hit points because he's really lucky and he's special. You will start with no money. None. Money is measured in gold pieces. You will get gold as you kill monsters and other sorts of things, like you might end up fighting something really weird like a butterfly, perhaps. It really just depends. If you decide to explore something, like if you kill a monster and you decide you're gonna search it, flip a coin. If the coin lands on heads, it's good. If it lands on tails, it's bad. I will tell you which is good and which is bad when the time comes. The only armor you will start with is t-shirt, pants, boots, and a backpack, or a bandolier instead of a backpack if you so choose. Bandoliers just look cooler. There's really no good function. They actually hold less. But I'm not really restricting you on how much it'll hold, because it's kind of difficult to do that and I don't really care. So you only get these things if you are a common creature, which are creatures that I listed earlier. If you didn't go along with the common creatures, use your sense. A dragon or a phoenix isn't going to have these things. Its only armor is going to be scales or fire. A troll might have pants and a duffel bag to carry things, but no shirt in this kingdom's going to fit it unless it's a Homestuck troll, but I doubt many of you are Homestuck fans. Tim Bread has shirt, pants, boots, but he has a bandolier because he is cool. You will fight monsters. It's the only way to level up. You're not gonna get experience from opening things or looking at things. I'm not gonna do that. You have to fight monsters to level up. Each monster is worth a certain number of experience points and one additional max hit point to you if you kill the monster. So basically, if you kill the monster, add one maximum hit point to your number of hit points. I will explain how to do this in battle sequences. There's a spot on your character sheet for total experience. Your character level is based on how much experience you have. Take your total experience, divide that by 10, and round down. This is your level. Since Tim Bread has 0 experience points, he is level 1. You can't be level 0. You just start out at level 1. Battle sequences. Oh snap! You're being challenged by the menacing Onion Bird. This is a real battle, and a freebie monster, if your character is number 1. If your character number is 1. If your character number is anything higher than 1, you do not get this freebie. Let's go over how this works. Draw a grid that is 2 cells tall, and leave plenty of space for width. Basically multiply 6 times your number of hit points, and draw that many cells. For this, you don't need to do that, just draw 3 cells for width. The top row is monster, the bottom row is you. Even for rogues. Rogues, right now, just pretend you rolled an odd number. Whoever is on top goes first, so in this case that is the Onion Bird. Because monsters do 1 hit point of damage per level, I roll to see how often they do damage. Since you are level 1, and I have rolled a 3, the Onion Bird does 1 damage every 3 rounds. Now, the Onion Bird is really easy to hit. You only have to roll a 3 to hit it, and it has 1 hit point itself. So, the wide cells are for rounds. So, like, round 1 is... So, round 1, the Onion Bird attacks, so put a 1 in the top row, first column. You roll a 2, so you can't attack, because you have to roll at least a 3 to hit it, and you didn't do that. Put a 0 in the bottom row, column 1. The columns correspond to the round number, so round 2 is in column 2. The Onion Bird cannot attack because it's already attacked and it has to wait 3 rounds before it attacks again. So put a 0 in the Onion Bird's row. Remember, the rows are reversed for rogues if they roll an even number. So this time you roll 4. You manage to hit the Onion Bird and your weapon does 1 damage to it, because starting weapons only do 1 damage. So that part's really simple. So now your Onion Bird is dead, because you did 1 damage to it. Since your Onion Bird is now dead, add up the numbers in each row, and in the Onion Bird row, this adds to 1. This is how many points it attacked you for, and this is what you removed from your hit points. Don't actually do this for this monster. Like I said, it's a freebie. You had no control over losing that point, so don't remove it. Let this be a reminder, though, that if your hit points are down to 1, don't engage in battle. Monsters attack on the first round. If you're down to 1 hit point, you are going to die. You are going to die. Don't engage in battle. If you come across a monster, you have the option to run at first. To run away, you just have to not roll a 1. Any other number lets you run. On the other hand, if you've already engaged, you have to roll a 6 to run. Otherwise, you're stuck and you pretty much die. If you've already engaged and you decide to run, that's usually if you are down to 1 hit point and you're still fighting this thing. Add 1 max hit point for killing the onion bird, and 10 experience points. Add the onion bird to the monster's defeated list and write 10 next to it. Write the number of experience points next to the monster. If you run out of room on any of these cells, you can continue writing on the back. That's what the blank space on the back is for. I only made it a one-sided character sheet to keep it simple, and so you could add things on the back very easily. Now, if you wish to search the onion bird, flip a coin. Go ahead, do it now. Don't worry, since this is a freebie, you'll be fine. Pause the video while you find a coin, and start it again when you're ready. Remember, heads is good, tails is bad. Flip the coin. In the item slot, put onions. This is no matter what you flipped, you're gonna get onions anyway because you decided to flip the coin and search it. If you flipped heads, put 10 gold coins in your money slot. If you got tails, at the very top of your sheet, write minus teary eyes. You will have this until you engage your next monster, and all it does is make your character slightly less attractive. Every time you get gold, you can go to the store. This is a page on the Hot Bread website, and you just subtract the cost and add in whatever you buy. That's all I've got for you, so until the next video, have fun creating your character. Hot Bread out.